And the floodgates of baby oil and lube are officially open because more things are coming out against Sean Diddy Combs. Now, Albie Shore is speaking out in 3 posts asking federal investigators to look into the death of Kim Porter. He claims that he believes the, quote, perpetrator is behind not only her death, but the disappearance of her computer. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your #1 source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So, Albie Shore, you know from the 80s and 90s, he was a singer, very popular singer, but also had a relationship with Kim Porter back then, and they had a child, Quincy Brown, who Quincy and Albie Shore have been estranged for many years. They've sort of found their way back to each other recently. Albie Shore has been dropping hints over the last few months about Diddy having some sort of involvement in regards to Kim Porter's passing. Also, some people believe that when Albie Shore almost lost his life, he was in a coma, they feel as if Diddy had something to do with it. Well, now today, just a few hours ago, Albie Shore took to his Instagram because he probably feels safe enough to say something that Sean Diddy Combs is behind bars indefinitely. Well, at least until his trial. If you missed any of our updates in regards to Diddy and why his bail was denied, or us talking about the legality of it with Stephanie St. Aubin, be sure to check out some of our many videos from last week. I thought we might have a little bit of a break this week. Apparently not. So Albie Shore in 3 posts, and in the post, it's a photo of he and Kim from back in the day, just sort of like looking at each other in the eyes. They always seem to have some sort of connection, but Albie Shore being a great father, that's up in the air. That's up in the air. All right. So along with the photo that he has, there's also posts that he includes in it as well. But I'm going to read the captions of what he mentions. Sidebar, we did talk briefly about Kim's Lost Words, a book that's now available on Amazon. I've heard a few people that have actually read the 60 pages. They said some of it is believable, but some of it, it's not so believable. I say all that to say, we have to remember that this book has not been verified. However, according to the person that published the book and put it out there, they're saying that the person that gave it to them is a very credible source. I just have to point that out. I mean, anything at this particular point, anything bad that anyone has to say about Sean Diddy Combs, we're going to believe it based off of what we know as facts so far. So this is what Albie Shore says in a caption, and this is 3 parts. He also tags the DEA, the DOJ. He also tags, I think it was the LVMPD, the NYPD as well. And he has a bunch of different hashtags. He says this, Peep Game, he says part 1, Peep Game. For over a decade and a half, I've been posting about and tagging random law enforcement agencies in hopes to protect loved ones, avoid deaths and tragedies that could have been avoided. Despite this, I have been ignored, ridiculed, and medically silenced to cover up these crimes you're all now aware of by a very aggressive, quote, PR team and costly campaign to silence and physically harm me from exposing. So he's alleging that those recent health issues that he's had and the coma that he was in was caused by all of this. He says it only aimed to prevent me from further sharing publicly the facts and insights a Lady KP, Kim Porter, shared with me during our frequent and intimate conversations in her selfless attempts to save my life by sharing frequent plans to do harm and possibly ending my life. Wow, so she was in communication with him in recent years, letting him know about things that were in the works that were going to happen to him. I wonder how Albie Shore feels about this book, because he would probably have a better understanding on how Kim Porter would write. We have to remember, the reason why I'm telling you this in regards to the book is because one of Kim's friends alleges that this book is not real. That's not Kim. Okay. He says further investigation requests Miss Kimberly Antoinette Porter. He says, I'm writing this post to formally request an investigation into an entire group of individuals who worked at or around the residence of Miss Kimberly Porter, including the publicist who assisted drafting this. It has come to my attention that these persons were also instructed to steal her computer and mobile devices, which contained her, quote, original book notes. Original notes are distinct from the fabricated BS and offensive pages circulated via Amazon, which depict graphic sexual acts involving me that never took place. Okay, so he's discrediting this book, y'all. Involving me that never took place and were edited and added after Miss Porter's tragic murder. I urge you to consider who authorized such a fictitious publication without categorizing it as calculated fiction. The publicists and conspirators worked in concert from separate camps, launching this campaign, which appears to be a very personal and deliberate distraction from their involvement in covering horrific crimes assisted in and perplexed the public for many years, which I have personally experienced and cautiously deemed just as a medical crisis for legal reasons until the rest of these atrocities were uncovered by authorities, making it more believable to a gullible public that has been fooled for so long. We have to keep in mind, anything that anyone puts out right now, people are going to be believing it. So I already know whoever put out this book is making a killing from this book. Okay, let's get into part 2 of what Albie Shore says in a 3-part expose, I'm saying, in regards to he wants federal investigators, he wants law enforcement to look into Kim Porter's passing. In part 2, he tags, again, a lot of different people in law enforcement. He says, Miss Porter's missing devices, allegedly already in evidence, unquestionably contain the critical evidence that have been concealed. I'm convinced that evidence corroborates closely with details outlined in the recently released public indictment document. Additionally, it's pertinent to note that the individuals involved in this matter may also be connected to also concealing the alleged murders of several prominent artists, a situation that has left many bewildered, yet those who are immersed in the culture and familiar with the intricacies of the entertainment industry may have a clear understanding of the obvious. Also, he's telling a lot without telling a lot. It is with a heavy heart that I reflect on the legacy of our beloved Lady KP. It is truly disheartening to think that those she considered close friends and who were financially compensated by her perpetrators may have conspired with the perpetrator to obscure the truth and tarnish her name, my name, and her unfinished book notes with these ridiculous and unfounded narratives. The absence of Miss Porter leaves a void, depriving her of the opportunity to address these inaccuracies personally and to share her own factual memoirs detailing the brutal terror and madness she endured. Check all who text messages of those who serve in the PR capacity, as they have brilliantly and underhandedly crafted this fictitious story to service a personal vendetta. There's more. There's so much to unpack. Unfortunately, I'm the only survivor by the blessings of a medical team that initially gave up because of multiple system organ failure, septic, intubated, on a ventilator for 38 days, and forced to visit death's doorstep. But the God I serve and worship had another plan. Keep in mind that this is just a G-rated version of what I endured over a decade, plus to silence the OG. I also kept forensic records of every individual who was sent my way to set me up, track me, gaslight me, and allegedly cause harm to my system. Wow. Like, I am not in shock, but in shock because he's saying a lot without saying a lot. Please protect this man, because just because Diddy's in jail doesn't mean he doesn't still have power on the outside. So Albie Shore, in the final part of his post, says this: Unfortunately, Kimberlina was taken from us too soon, and before she could complete her true thoughts, before this fake unauthorized edit released on Amazon, which the disappearance of her computer and vital evidence raises significantly more questions, it is evident her potential to expose the realities of her personal abuses, being drugged, the S trafficking and human trafficking she was privy to, akin to the brave actions of Mrs. Cassie Ventura, posed a threat to those profiting from such heinous activities. In a nutshell, Kimberly was allegedly taken from us because she was set on a course to accomplish what Mrs. Cassie Ventura did by igniting the bonfire, which brings us here today with the avalanche that has brought Satan to their chambers. Wow. Let us honor the memory of Lady KP, acknowledging the strength, struggle she faced, and the truth she sought to reveal in her own personal notes. Not this fake, unauthorized nonsense, using my name to keep dragging me as a social punishment for exposing this years ago. There will be significant suit headed right for the heads of the responsible parties who dragged my name in this BS. Kim and I talked right up to a few days prior to her demise. So they were in communication. She was in good health, and we are in such a great quote friend space, reminiscing about old times and celebrating news of our son's accomplishments. Quincy. No affair, just great friends. Hashtag Warriors for Kim Porter. We must continue to advocate for her justice and ensure that every one of the individuals who conspired against her are held accountable and prosecuted to the highest extent of the law. He says, thank you to all the law enforcement agencies for their unwavering dedication to uncovering a portion of the truth. There's more. Rest in power, Lady KP. Your true legacy will not be forgotten. Most importantly, please pray for the kids. There is no validation in my claims coming true. There has been a way too much collateral damage and death everywhere. Look, he's very brave because, like I said before, Albie Shore has experienced a lot in the last few years. He's had not just experienced a lot of health-wise, but his credibility has taken a hit as well. People have called him a deadbeat father, and that can be true, but so can the Diddy of it all. And so can the possible situation when it comes to what happened to Kim Porter. And I appreciate him coming out now because now more eyes are on the situation. So anything happens to him, it's going to be thoroughly investigated. Guys, as always, I want to know, have you read the book? Because I know a lot of people are getting the book right now. According to Albie Shore, he's saying this is a fictitious narrative that someone is trying to spin for some reason. And he's saying the parts in this book that include him are completely false. So my instincts were right. Guys, let's continue this conversation in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
You bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll add the fuel. Follow me, lead it, just watch the show.